Hey, remember the last time we were talking about Matt Gaetz possibly being a PDF file? Some of you remember, some of you don't. For some who don't remember, let me refresh your memory a little bit. Matt Gaetz, Republican U.S. House Representative from Florida, that's how you know it's wrong, a while ago was insinuated to have been involved in a child trafficking ring with one of his constituents who used money that he got from the state. He used his state credit card to be able to pay off young women, some of them being of age but still young, like 21, some of them being underage, like 16, to have relations with him and his associates. That was caught a little while ago, a couple years ago. Okay, there were text messages that from one of the people, from the ringleader, his name was Green, from the ringleader there in Florida, that he had paid a young girl underage at the time to have relations with Matt Gaetz, the representative, and that he committed giga crimes, and also that he was with the girl and helped traffic the girl through state lines to be able to engage in other illegal acts with other representatives around the country, in Georgia and in other states as well. That all popped off in 2021. Now, when that popped off, he went on to Tucker Carlson's show. He tried to drag Tucker Carlson down with him by saying that you can make these claims about anyone. They can make it about you, Tucker. And Tucker was like, "You'll leave me out of this, boy." All right. And then Tucker lost his job and everything. Matt Gaetz actually kept his job, and Matt Gaetz actually kept his job, and the feds decided to drop the case against him for some reason. They said that they cleared him so far that they didn't have explicit evidence that he had committed those crimes of trafficking minors. Okay, it still hangs above his head like an albatross. He used his adopted Cuban son to be able to deflect him from PDF allegations. It was all bad, but it all died down over a while. There was lots of stuff about that. Roger Stone was involved in it as well. There was really bad allegations out there about Gaetz, and he's been a bit of a pariah for a long while, even though he was able to have people like Marjorie Taylor Greene have his back in all this, but that's not necessarily the most absolving force helping you get out of cases like this bad. Okay, this all died down. Matt Gaetz's associates went to jail, but a lot of them still kept implicating him in crimes that he engaged in when it came to the payment, sale of the bodies of, and illegal activities with these girls, some of them which may have been under the age of consent. With that being said, 2 days ago now, a nasty article dropped. I want to look at a couple articles here. Nasty articles dropped, okay, in the cases against these people that implicated Matt Gaetz again in engaging in criminal activity with these young girls, and it's gotten so bad that now the House has obtained text messages that allegedly confirm that Gaetz was setting up a 2017 Florida Keys trip with a woman his associate paid for sex. House Ethics Committee is reviewing the messages, sources tell ABC News. So let's take a look at this. Congressional House ethics investigators have obtained text messages allegedly showing that a few months after first joining Congress, a long time ago, like pretty quick, bro got scooped up pretty quick. Hate to see it. Florida Representative Matt Gaetz asked a young woman who at the time had received payments for sex from Gaetz's then close friend Joel Greenberg to join him and others on a 3-day trip to the Florida Keys in May 2017. Multiple sources tell ABC News. It's always off the coast of Florida. This stuff is always happening in Florida. You ever think about that? Why is it always happening in Florida? What's going on with Florida? What's happening with Florida, man? Something's got to change. Is Florida that godless demon hole? Anyways, in the alleged text messages described exclusively to ABC News, the then freshman congressman appeared to message a young woman, who ABC News is not identifying, asked if she would fly on a private jet to the Florida Keys for a trip with Gates, 3 other women, and 1 other man. Hey, any interest in flying on a private jet to the Keys on May 19th, 2021? Gates allegedly wrote the woman, who was older than 21 at the time, according to multiple sources familiar with the messages. Gates then allegedly said that the trip would feature 2 guys, 4 girls, a very high quality adventurous group, according to the they were trying to do an orgy. That's what that means. That was that means. He was like, I want all your holes filled, according to the messages, which has previously not been reported on. Yeah, I'm in, replied the woman. According to the text, Gates allegedly replied, fantastic. As is true with all the time you spend with me, it'll be fun and chill. You got a passport? Sources familiar with these events tell ABC News that the woman ultimately declined the 2017 trip. The messages, if accurate, mark the first known example of alleged direct private communications between the Florida congressman and the woman who his one-time close associate Joel Greenberg told investigations he had been paying to have sex with other men, according to documents and interviews with multiple sources. You know, the craziest thing about this is that what this is barely legal Jeffrey Epstein. Just so you know, what he wanted to do, he wanted to be a barely legal Jeffrey Epstein. He wanted to be like Epstein when it comes to paying young girls to have relations with him and his friends. But he was like, I'm not all for the whole pedophilia thing, I guess. So instead of that, let's age them up like 3 years, make them like 18 through like 23, and then ship them out. He's like, they need to marinate a little more, and then we can ship them out. Slob on my knob. Please stop. I'm begging you to stop. I'm on my knees for you to stop. Florida is canceled until we figure out what's going on. We got to do something about this. As is true with all the time you spend with me, it'll be fun and chill. Anybody up for some fun and chill? It's unknown if Gates knew that Greenberg had allegedly been paying the woman in such a manner. A spokesman for Gates told ABC News that Representative Gates has no knowledge of these activities by Greenberg and was not invited in them. Representative Gates has never paid for sex. Gates does not know anything about the woman you're referencing, though he does take thousands of selfies each year. Members of the House Ethics Committee declined to comment to ABC News. A photo of Gates and the woman has also been turned over to the committee. According to sources briefed on the matter, the photo, which dates May 19th, 2017, shows the woman smiling in a selfie with Gates, who is wearing a shirt that reads, "If you think research is expensive, try disease." A quote from health activist Mary W. Laxter. Okay. According to the bank and Venmo records reviewed by ABC News, the woman had previously received multiple payments from Greenberg, which multiple sources tell ABC News were for women to have sex at parties with Greenberg's friends. Greenberg, a former Seminole County tax collector, reached a deal with federal investigators in May 2021, which he publicly pleaded guilty to multiple federal crimes, including sex trafficking of a minor and introducing her to other adult men who also had sex with her when she was underage. Right? And so this is the big thing, is that now it seems like Gates, luckily for him, has been cleared of having any relations with the one specific girl that was underage that Greenberg was trafficking. But it seems like he was actually implicated with the other girls who, thankfully for him, at least in this specific instance, are not children. Which, I mean, if you're gonna, do anything like that, probably shouldn't, for one. I don't think he should have sex with kids. I'm gonna come out and say it. Sex with kids is bad. And so, he's lucky. He's lucky because there is a picture of him with this girl here, actually, the 17-year-old, sorry, the around 22-year-old girl that Joel Greenberg had paid to come to parties and fuck him and his friends. And it seems like he was actually going to a party to have some fun and have fun and chill, stuff along those lines. Obviously, nobody usually in these conversations go, "Hey girl, you want to come to my place and fuck? You want to get your hose filled? You want to get hit with a slobber knocker?" Ooh. Yeah, he's like, yeah, no, usually people don't go, "I'm over here stroking my dick, I got lotion on my dick, I'm horny as fuck." That looks terrible. He always looks like a character from Beavis and Butthead. It's quite remarkable, his weird phenotype. The sea level is rising. House investigators have recently ramped up their probe into Gates, which ABC News had previously reported is looking into allegations that he paid for sex, as well as allegations about drug use and potential lobbying violations. What? God forbid men have hobbies. Goodness. Oh, you gotta look into whether or not he plays Magic the Gathering or something too? I mean, come on. I can imagine that being a congressman is a lot of work. Let the man breathe. Matt Gaetz, calm down. Put the dick away. Since the start of 2024, the Ethics Committee has contacted numerous witnesses, including Greenberg and the congressman's ex-girlfriend. No, they got his ex in it too. It's over. Federal investigators previously sought answers about the separate trip in 2018 that Gaetz allegedly took to the Bahamas with women who Greenberg said had been paying for sex, and were looking to determine if Gaetz was provided travel and entertainment in exchange for political favors. According to people familiar with the investigation, House investigators have conducted at least one interview with a witness who was allegedly part of the trip. It's unclear what exactly happened. Things aren't looking too good for our boy Matt Gaetz right now. Well, Florida's boy Matt Gaetz. I thought it was Democrats. That was the kid diddlers. We need to do another Republican family value segment to do like a pedo roundup on all of the like offending Republican PDFs out there. This is crazy. Oh yeah. Also, still on this. There's a little bit more that I want to get into about what was happening with Matt Gaetz and the allegations against him, because there are a little bit more details that was given to us by the Daily Beast, and let's check them out a little bit, okay? The woman's attorney also told the Daily Beast that when it became apparent Gaetz was being investigated in 2021, she was contacted by another male party attendee, a Gaetz associate, who pressed her to see if she was speaking to anyone about the congressman or the parties. She felt this meeting was an effort to intimidate her into not describing any of the events related to Gaetz, the lawyer said. The woman whose name the Daily Beast is withholding was older than 21 at the time of the encounters, the attorney said, noting that she emphasized to prosecutors that the sex was consensual. She told them that she and lots of girls were provided all kinds of controlled substances at the parties. It's always drugged out parties with these Republicans. They always, it's always Freaktober to them. They can't just have normal sex at normal parties where everybody is not inebriated under some and under the influence of some type of drug. Is that because they don't believe the girls would have sex with them if they weren't like drugged out? Like, what's going on? Not sounding very consensual so far. Everything was super consensual. Anyways, we were all under copious amounts of drugs. The lawyer said, confirming a number of reports about the gatherings. The heavy use of drugs and alcohol was a hurdle for investigators, he said, since it muddled memories of the event. That's probably what the point of it all is, right? Availability of vast amounts of alcohol and controlled substances gives rise to the lack of control of hormonal imperative. Oh no, Mr. Lawyer, which inspired people to engage in intimate behavior that may or may not have been because they were financially reimbursed. The woman appears in Venmo transactions previously reported by the Daily Beast. Between March and July 2017, this woman received nearly $2,500 across multiple payments from Gaetz's then best friend, locally elected tax collector Joel Greenberg. The descriptions Greenberg entered for her payments included travel, being cool, and stuff, and the misspelled first name of another Greenberg associate. The text messages are now in the hands of investigators that show Gaetz propositioning the women in May 2017 for a private group flight to the Florida Keys. It's always a fun time with me. The woman who was invited did not receive any other payments. For one $500 charge to Greenberg in July 2017, she entered a policewoman emoji in the memo line. The same weekend, Gates and Greenberg shared a selfie of themselves at a dinner with Roger Stone in Miami. Although the woman appears to have ultimately declined the trip to the Florida Keys, ABC reports that she posted a selfie with Gates on May 19th, the planned departure day. That photo, which the Daily Beast had obtained, was taken at 10:30 p.m. Winter Garden, Florida. According to metadata on the photo, it shows the attention-grabbing conservative in a t-shirt. He said coming forward was an emotionally taxing experience. A difficult and emotionally taxing experience. At one point, the lawyer said this person close to Gates berated his client for informing about what she may tell anyone investigating Gates, and she felt that it was a clear intent to pressure her to keep her mouth shut. Gates' associate asked to meet the woman for lunch in spring 2021, the lawyer said. The setup made the attorney uneasy, however, and she dispatched a colleague to tag along and monitor the meeting in secret. Oh my gosh. So they did this as well. They did this. There were allegations that this was happening between Greenberg and that one underage girl where he berated the child for not telling him her age, and that she could get him in a lot of trouble for being a child, and him like Epsteining her out to his friends and trafficking her with his friends. And then after all of that, he didn't like stop talking to her or delete her number or something. He was like, listen, when's your birthday? And then he wrote her birthday down in his phone. And then on her birthday, when she turned 18, then messaged her again to ask if she wanted to do it again. Bro's actually, he does 100% belong in like prison. He belongs in jail. This Greenberg guy belongs in jail. You can see some of our old videos that we talked about this. You can search Gates in the, you can search Gates on the channel. Peepo puke. Him at least pay her more. That is true. He only gave her $500. That is not that much. The girls do deserve way better than this. Last year, prosecutors announced they were declining to file charges against Gates while also refusing to publicly offer an explanation. That decision, almost exactly 1 year ago, gave rise to frustration and outrage among key witnesses in the case, including women who had come forward to provide intimate details and accounts of their interactions according to interviews with lawyers and witnesses in the matter. The fact that nothing came of it has kind of astonished her. Yeah, the misogyny blew this woman's mind that no one cared about this guy systematically abusing young girls. Who could have seen this coming? Guys, can you imagine that a politician, after abusing young women, just wasn't held accountable for his actions at all? Man, wild. Who could have seen this coming? Blows my mind. I wasn't expecting it, honestly. For them to go through all that and then target the investigation just to wink and nod has created for some of them a loss of faith in the system. Not long after prosecutors tabled their investigation, the ethics committee reopened its own probe, which initiated in 2021, but quickly was put on ice in defense of the DOJ. Since then, the committee has reached out to several key witnesses, including a 17-year-old at the center of the sex trafficking allegations, Greenberg, Gates' ex-girlfriend, all this type of stuff, right? And so that's what we're dealing with right now. Crazy, crazy stuff. So Matt Gaetz, possibly free from the assault charges and trafficking charges against that 17-year-old. Is that going to stay that forever? I don't know. Once again, federal prosecutors, I wasn't happy with how this turned out because we didn't even get an explanation. The feds just said, we're not going to be pressing charges, and that's just kind of it. They tabled the whole investigation and then they just moved on. The Republicans control the House right now, and they have since 2022. So obviously they haven't moved forward investigating whether or not this guy had abused children because they simply don't care. And so with that being the case, we've gotten nothing on this story for over 2 years now, when it's very possible that he could have been engaged with, and he was incredibly close to, and he may have been in the circle of men getting women to have sex with them from a guy who was sex trafficking children across state lines. And it's just nobody talks about it, right? Nobody worries about it. It's just a completely tabled issue. And then obviously the women involved in the situation feel terrible about it because they have to go through so much by recounting all the things that happened to them for only the feds to go fuck you and then disappear and not even give them like a follow-up on what's going on. They don't even get any closure. It just disappeared and nobody cares anymore. Why the feds do that? I don't know. I can't tell you. Right. Obviously, when these type of situations happen, people are going to make conspiracies up about it. I'm not going to, but I'm going to say that something needs to be done. And Gates is not clean at all. I don't believe so. I don't think a lot of other people do. People who are privy to the matter. I don't like it. And hopefully something comes of this and we finally understand what Gates' role is in all of this and why he needs way better friends. Come here. Come here. Oh. Hi. Oh, sorry. I didn't see you there. If you're enjoying the content, hit the subscribe button. If you don't, it'll make Boo very sad. I know a bunch of you who are watching are not subscribed. Join the frenzy. You won't regret it. Thank you, Boo.